Good evening, guys. Welcome to another edition of 10 Unedited Minutes with Marlena. It is Tuesday, and notice I said good evening because it is not in the morning. It is later in the day. We'll get into why I'm recording later in the day again here in a few. But first, today's episode is sponsored by a very dear friend of mine who agreed to sponsor a couple months worth of my TikToks, and they did not want to be mentioned. So thank you very much. They did this because they believe in me and they love the work that I'm doing here and they want to see it continue. So thank you. I think of you every time I talk into this microphone, and I am so grateful that you support me. Speaking of that, if anybody else wants to support me, I am always looking for show sponsors. It's $25 a month to sponsor my podcast, and that basically covers the Buzzsprout subscription that I utilize to push this podcast out to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I also stream it to YouTube, and every once in a while I will do a TikTok live. But yeah, I do have another sponsor coming up, and I'm very excited. I have some really cool things planned for this one. So here in a few weeks, we will transition over to that sponsor, and I cannot wait. But anyway, if you're on YouTube, you're going to see me take out my AirPods. Hopefully that doesn't fuck up my GarageBand here. But yeah, I think they're dead anyway. Anyway, so today we are recording very late in the day because we had yet another pregnancy scare with my daughter. And we had to go get checked out in the hospital last night. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. The baby's fine. I was blessed to be able to see my sweet granddaughter on an ultrasound. She was running a marathon per the doctor. Her heartbeat was strong. My daughter wasn't having any contractions. Everything is okay with the baby. So there's just a few things that my daughter needs to get taken care of here over the next week or so to start feeling a little bit better. She's dealing with a little bit of anemia, I think. So we're going to get that taken care of. And yeah, I'm ready for this pregnancy to turn into an uneventful pregnancy. But no matter what, I'm going to be there for my daughter. I told her that. She felt absolutely terrible that, I had to go out at 10 o'clock at night and take her to the hospital yet again. But I told her, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I will do that for her. And I truly don't care. And I truly will drop what I'm doing. I've always been that way with my kids. But anyway, so we didn't get home until super, super late. And I had some things to do very early this morning. So I went to bed late and had to get up very early to get some things done. And yeah, I'm yawning, sorry. Just thinking about it, it made my day just completely go crazy. And I'm tired today. And have you ever had one of those days where no matter what, you just feel like blah? Like, I don't really know that anybody's pissed me off today. I don't really have a reason to have a bad day. I just feel blah. And I've felt that way all day. But something just snapped me right out of it. And that's why I kind of dropped what I was doing tonight and decided to record this podcast because this is pretty cool. And as you all know, I have picked up a part-time gig helping my friend Paula out with the icons. So the Bluffton icon and the Ada icon are two local online news sources, hyper-local news sources. And I have, she graciously brought me in to manage some of her content on the two websites. And I love it. I was a journalist before I took over the dough hook, and journalism has kind of captured my heart, and it feels good to kind of get back into it. So this evening, I sat down to edit some content for her, and I happened upon this one story that she had published a few days ago, and her and I actually had a conversation about this during our weekly meeting, and that's why I was like, ooh, I want to read that, because our conversation intrigued me. But this is a story, and I'm going to read this story to you, and then we'll comment on it, because it's very impactful and it's beautiful. So before I start, though, this column was written by Bill Herr, and I know Bill just from him coming into the dough hook. I know he has been a very important part of the Bluffton community. Let's see. It says in this story, he was a high school math teacher and science teacher for 32 years, and then he served as a volunteer and then as a staff chaplain at our 2 nursing homes here in Bluffton. And Bill is one of the nicest people. His whole family is nice. And it just has been a pleasure to get to know them over the years. So Bill wrote this column on Marvel Stratton Hilty, and I just want to read it to you. He titled it Unforgettable, Marvel Stratton Hilty, by Bill Herr. He writes, when I was chaplain at Mennonite Memorial Home, I met many amazing residents. One of the most memorable was my friend Marvel Hilty. A graduate of Bluffton High School, she worked for 30 years at Triplet Corporation. We didn't make much, she said, but we had fun. She told me her happiest times were when her kids were small. She had 3 children, Jerry Hilty, Diana Marshall, and Joy Lee Shoemaker. I probably butchered that. Lee, last name? Included in her family were 2 stepchildren, 8 grandchildren, 6 step-grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. She talked about them often, and when asked what lifted her spirits when feeling sad, she said, being thankful for what I have. She was a member of the Bluffton Senior Citizen Center and attended Bluffton Baptist Church. She cared deeply about people, and often she befriended residents at Mennonite Memorial Home who could not express themselves. She would stop in the hall by them, touch their hand or arm, and smile when greeting them. She was a favorite of the staff, and her faith, strength, and goodness lifted us all. Now, what set her apart? With permission from her family, I can share that she had multiple health issues. She became blind, she had serious diabetes, she had heart disease and kidney failure, and cancer at the end of her life. When her doctor told Marvel that her treatment for cancer could be painful, she said to him, "So what?" I asked her why she said that to the doctor. She answered with these words, "Well, I just figured that God would be there to take care of everything, and I did not need to worry about nothing. He would give me the strength to bear whatever I had to, and so I've just clung to that. I just put everything into the hands of the Lord, and whatever is to be, is to be." Marvel was 78 when she died at Mennonite Memorial Home. Her loss to her family and friends was heaven's gain. When I asked her what she thinks happens to people when their hearts stop and their lungs stop breathing, she answered, "I think they go immediately to be with God, and I'm looking forward to it being a wonderful experience." Wow. That is the end of the story written by Mr. Herr. And those last 2 paragraphs, if those did not impact you deeply, wow. I'm going to read them again. So Marvel, towards the end of her life, had cancer. And when her doctor told Marvel that her treatment for cancer could be painful, she said to him, "So what?" I asked her why she said that to the doctor. She answered with these words, "Well, I just figured that God would be there to take care of everything, and I didn't need to worry about nothing. He would give me the strength to bear whatever I had to, and so I've just clung to that. I just put everything into the hands of the Lord, and whatever is to be, is to be." I think everyone could live by those words. I sure have been. Trust me, he hasn't let me down yet. Put everything into the hands of the Lord, and whatever is to be is to be. And then what happens to people when their hearts stop and their lungs stop breathing? You go immediately to be with God. And I'm looking forward to it being a wonderful experience. Wow. Yeah. So, good job, Mr. Herr. Thank you, Marvel Hilty, for impacting everyone and being such a blessing to the residents at Mennonite Memorial Home. And, you know, it's people like these that make me proud to be from Bluffton. We are very lucky to have the community that we have, to have the people that live in this community. And I consider ourselves very lucky to have the faith base that we have in Bluffton. There's several denominations of churches, and you know, we all kind of work together and we love each other. So trust in God, guys. Trust in God. Trust me, he won't let you down. Okay, that's our 10 minutes. I love you guys. Pray for me. I pray for you every single day. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.